Thanks, man.
I know, she's such a good comedian.
Thank you. It was kind of crazy. I was just supposed to do like one episode of How I Met Your Mother, and then it turned into more. So Bill at Scrubs generously let me go back and forth, and How I Met Your Mother let me go back and forth. So I was like waking up at like 4:30. I get to How I Met Your Mother at 5, stay there till 10, go to Scrubs. I may have gotten in a couple of car accidents.
You're savage.
I underslept. I was
The one was like, hey, we'll get transplanted. Next time. I'm gonna rep you.
So I've actually got a question for Spencer. So Summer has progressively been going as a character. Like her character, by the end of the last episode I saw was the season premiere, third season. I was like, this is awesome because her character is to the point, just like Rick and an equal measure.
Rick and Summer are equals.
When I saw that trailer, I saw her like kind of like coming into her own, like more versatile. So like, have you enjoyed like her character progressing, and what's that? I guess the challenge of that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, well, from what I've gathered from Justin and Dan is that, you know, Summer was going to be this kind of not important, inconsequential character in certain ways. And I sort of possess this voice that's a little bit dorky, but a little bit self-assured in certain ways, which is kind of how I always felt in high school. So, flash forward. But I've always been kind of an outspoken woman in a lot of ways. I don't really take a lot of shit from anybody. And I think that part of my personality has definitely bled into this character, and they've utilized that and created more storylines to sort of use that. Just because I can be kind of like emasculating in certain ways. And I think that creates a good foil for Rick.
Yeah. I definitely see that.
Grandpa
it challenges him to like, all right, do I pick Rick? I mean, I'll pick Morty, do I pick Summer? Like in certain instances, like that episode where like you were with the devil.
Right,
and that
I know.
Whole shop, that was like
Mr.
Rick
Needful.
and
it was so fun. I loved doing that episode so much. I mean, I didn't know at the time when we did it that Alfred Molina would be doing the voice of Mr. Needful, because they kind of get some of the characters later to do the guest star spots. And I that's probably my favorite episode. I mean, I just love the end where we get to bond, me and Rick, where we're like, pumping iron and like, doing steroids. And then we just clean up society. We don't only like go after that, but we just like go after people who are like just being shitty in general. So I loved that episode. I also feel like we're gonna have more as we go into this third season. There's definitely like a family dynamic that starts to change. We deal more with the mother-daughter relationship and the struggle that you have, the competition that you end up having, and that resonated with me in certain ways. As a person, as a woman, the mother-daughter competition thing as a teenager, and how you like work through that together. It's all good now. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like it's all good now, but like at that time, that's a real thing that people go through. And I love that we're on a show that's also like a sci-fi show that's kind of addressing those things.
I know.
Yeah. Let's talk about feminism for a second, right?
I know, that's my favorite part about the show is that like you are going off planet and having these intergalactic adventures, but it's grounded in this like real family, and they're dealing with all of the painful, interesting, funny, hard, great things that a family goes through.
Sarah, I feel like we can't not talk about the fact that Roseanne's coming back too, especially
I know, she's going to be on Roseanne.
Daughter relationships. How excited are you? What can you say? Because I know both Becky's will be back. What can you tell us?
How excited am I on a scale of 1 to 10, 11 and a half? I think it's so timely. This show is coming back now, and to get to see the Connor family 20 years later dealing with everything that the rest of the country is dealing with right now. And I'm so psyched to get to be a part of it. I mean, when they called, I was like, yep, don't need to know what I'm doing or what's happening or when it's happening, I'm in.
I mean, Roseanne is like she's such a pinnacle and representative of like female like comedians. Like at that time, she was maybe one of the only, and she had this amazing show that represented a family from her perspective. It's a wonderful show to be a part of.
It was cool. I was 16 years old at the time when I started working on it. To see a woman in that role, really, so much of what they tackled on that show was her pushing for those things and those ideas, and let's deal with Roseanne hitting her son, hitting DJ in that episode, and having the first kiss with two women on television, and all of that was really coming from her, and she was wanting to tackle groundbreaking issues and storylines, and I feel so lucky to have been a part of that show at that time, and obviously, learned so much from all of them. I mean, I had worked on a few terrible movies of the week in Vancouver, and here I was stepping onto that show with that cast with Laurie Metcalf and Roseanne and Sarah Gilbert and John Goodman and Johnny Galecki, and it just was a huge learning curve. I was pretty blown away.
So since the other Becky will be back, what will you be doing?
I cannot say.
Oh, that must be so hard.
She's playing Becky and I'm doing something else. I can't say what. I just found out though, and I'm really excited about it.
Oh, okay. Do you have such nostalgia going back?
Yes, so much. And I mean, it's one of those things where Lacey and I didn't get to do any scenes together because obviously we weren't there, so we've only met at random Roseanne reunion things and never actually got to work together, so I'm excited to get to do scenes with her, and yeah, absolutely there's a lot of nostalgia going back. I mean, it was such an incredible experience for me, and such a great show. Those episodes just hold up. I was watching one the other day and it just
So that plays a huge role, obviously, for relationships with everybody in the show. Of course, you got to see in the April Fool's special, Rick kind of just did it to get rid of, and then she also has a really good, weird relationship with Summer. How do you feel when you work on those relationships with everybody? How do you feel playing those roles?
I love some of the stuff Beth gets to do in season 3. You really get to, in one episode, go into her childhood and see a bit more why she is the way she is, and learn more about her relationship with her dad, and that it was fun exploring the divorce with Jerry and where that sort of takes each of them in season 3. And that's another cool thing about the new season is they pair a lot of pairs and couplings together that we haven't really gotten to explore yet. So you kind of get into a lot of the other relationships.
So did you guys ever think that you would ever be a voiceover for an adult swim show, if anything? And how do you guys...
I mean, I think when we... Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. And I was going to say, when you guys read your first script or, knew about the idea, how did you, feel about it? Because obviously it's, way out of the ordinary from,
I don't know. I auditioned for voiceover stuff a lot. There's so many crazy shows that no one ever ends up seeing, and I feel like I sort of lucked out with this one. It seemed really interesting because Dan Harmon was producing it, and it was this particular character and the way that the family went down. It was almost like a new, fresher idea on The Simpsons in a certain way, and I was stoked to read for it, and then I ended up getting this as a pilot 6 years ago.
Is that how long it was?
Yeah, I mean, you came in later, right? So
yeah,
there was a different person who used to play Beth, and then she was replaced.
That's I am, guys. That's what I do. Pinch hitter.
But it was, and so it's interesting because the animation takes so long, and then when you do a pilot, the incarnation of that takes a long time to get approval, and then to create the episode, they have to write all of the new episodes once they get picked up. So I've been there since the beginning with them, and it's been amazing to see how much people have resonated with this show, how much they love the show, and how we're now in our 3rd season, and like I honestly can't wait to do more episodes when we eventually get to do that.
I know.
We gotta like go over and bang on their doors and be like, guys, I wanna record more. I wanna be more Summer Smith.
I know.
Why can't we do that?
I know, you miss it. You miss it in between seasons.
Yeah.
I auditioned, and same thing as Spencer, like, it was such an incredible pilot episode, and the writing is so sharp and so funny. It was so unique. I auditioned from Canada on the phone with Justin and Dan, and they were like giving me notes, and I was at my friend's cabin, and there was like dogs barking and birds, and I'm like, kids, I'm like, everybody be quiet because I got it, I want this. Yeah. So I was super psyched to get to come be a part of it.
I remember them talking about that. They were like, we might get Sarah. They were like so stoked. And then when you came in to record them, it was just like, she's amazing. She's the best. Yeah, it was so cool.
Because I came in late, we ended up doing the first season of Beth in a couple of days. Like we just did all this because the episodes at that point had all been
recorded
we did
already.
Them all back to back in like 3 days.
Maybe last question. So this show's become a pop culture hit. Obviously, it's affected just kind of like Scrubs did as well. How does it feel knowing that you're working on a show that influenced so much pop culture?
It's so cool. I mean, it's so fun to be on a show that you're so proud of, and that like we feel equally, fans of the show. Like we're so excited when we get an email with the Rick and Morty script. It's like, I mean, we just can't wait to read it. And
I can't wait to read their genius that they come up with. Honestly, I'm always like, what's gonna happen now? Like, what do I get to I get to imagine and pretend all these things that I wouldn't normally get to do when I'm doing like a live action thing. And it's such a gift to be able to do that.
The writing is so sharp, and I just love how the show is. I mean, they're going on these intergalactic adventures, but it's also so profound and so insightful, and so I don't know how they manage to balance all of that, but like it's crazy to me that you can have these like something that's so like visually cool and beautiful with the animation and the art, and there's like this crazy battle between aliens, and then there's a scene that's like so poignant and moving it makes you cry. So yeah, it's really we feel lucky.
No, we can't do it without Beth or Summer.
Thank you. Thank you
so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Beth.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.